The call, Brendan Burns.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I'm very pleased to take a call on this bill. This came before the Primary Production Select Committee. It was indeed a private member's bill adopted by the government, and we commend them for that, because I don't think there is much that New Zealanders abhor more than cruelty to animals, and this bill follows on from a number of high-profile cases which have seen appalling cruelty to animals. Yes, to animals. Yeah. Not supporting cruelty to humans either, but we're dealing with animals in this particular bill. And we had a number of appalling cases which saw such things as a drunken man taking the head off a family kitten in front of his family. We had the awful instance of a man feeding five kittens to his pet bull and watching the animal while it killed them. These sorts of treatments of animals are reprehensible, and the fines and measures available to the courts were not of sufficient quality or size to really provide some sort of deterrent message to people who engage not just in the issues of willful ill treatment, but those who are also recklessly ill-treating animals. And there's a new offence added via the bill in respect of reckless ill-treatment. There is a definition around willful ill-treatment currently in the law, so for those who obviously have set out deliberately to ill-treat or maim an animal. But it's the issue around reckless ill-treatment where effectively animals can be left abandoned, can be left without food, can be left without shelter, and people who just basically don't give a stuff about the animals for which they supposedly have care and responsibility. And so that's why this bill has introduced penalties, as well as increasing the penalties for willful ill-treatment. It introduces penalties for neglect and ill-treatment, which in the past has not been subject to such penalties. The bill also enables the courts to order the forfeiture of animals owned by someone who's been convicted of a serious animal offence, and in the Select Committee process we've actually also recommended that anybody who takes back animals or starts looking after animals again when they've been subject to a penalty and a disqualification about owning animals, then they can face the same penalty all over again for taking on animals when they've been told that they're not allowed to do that. As mentioned, the bill was subject to considerable submission from animal welfare agencies, the SPCA amongst a number of others. One of the more curious ones came from the New Zealand Pork Industry Board, and I did have to say to the representative of the Pork Industry Board, I found it a little bizarre for that industry to be submitting in support of the bill, given that in the eyes of many New Zealanders the pork industry is an industry with a number of questions about its approach to animal welfare. And for the Pork Industry Board to be saying it was shocked by some of the incidents of animal cruelty that it had seen reported was a little strange, given that for many New Zealanders the issue of animal welfare was most brought into highlight by the Sunday documentary of last year in relation to the continued retention of sows in sow crates. So that was a rather odd submission to be made, but nonetheless a whole number of submissions from people.
I'm sorry to interrupt the member, but it's gone 10 o'clock. This debate is interrupted and is set down for resumption next sitting day. Nā reira, tēnā koutou, Paul Marie.